Listen, team, everybody's got that person in their family that wants that well done steak.
Oh.
I know, bring out the ketchup, right? But I've got a trick, a hack, you might even call it, of how to get two different temperatures out of the same steak, and B, how to make a well done steak not offend your sensibilities or your soul. Okay, I'm gonna show you. We're gonna do it together. So today's video is well done well. First thing we're gonna do is start out with this gorgeous New York strip from E3 Beef. And guys, I know what you're thinking, like, don't do it. Well, I'm gonna do it, okay? A couple things, no matter what you're doing, scruffing is a great way to impart more flavor. So we're gonna use our knife and just put some slices in this steak. And that's going to increase the surface area, okay? So a lot of caramelization, especially the way we're cooking this for those well done folks. They like some char on the outside generally, and then we're going to do a little trick on them so that it actually has the moisture content of a medium rare, but has the look of that well done. Then we're going to season today. I've chosen my very own, in collaboration with Lane's Barbecue, the Scorpion or Combo seasoning. It's got a little sweet, it's got a little heat, it's got some salt. All three things that I love on steakums. Now when I say sweet, it's not very sweet, but it's got just enough sugar content to help build that bark. And that's why I've chosen it for today's steak. All right, we're on. Next, let's go ahead and put a little oil on the top, and a little oil, and that's just going to help transfer heat more evenly and again assist in the caramelization. Let's go take a look at the grill. I got her wide open, okay? We're utilizing the divide and conquer system today. Let's call this 500 degrees. I've got a grill grate in the middle section of divide and conquer, and then for the second part of this steak, I've got a cast iron griddle up here. So let's go ahead and grill the steak to the perfect medium rare. All right, so we're getting nice caramelization. We're gonna turn it, we're not gonna turn it 45 degrees and get the grill marks. I know we're doing a well done steak, but let's at least not have grill marks on it, okay? You've heard me say it before, those grill marks should have gone out with edible flowers in the 90s. We want caramelization all over the place. Let's take a look at it. Look at that smoke that's coming out, beautiful stuff. Oh my gosh. And look at how that's becoming exacerbated, all right? We're starting to really get opened up so we can get more nooks and crannies. Once you've got even caramelization, but you're still gunning for that 120, 125 internal temperature, you can flip as much as you want and it'll scruff it up even more, right? So as it's damaging the surface area on the grill grates, it's creating more nooks and crannies for caramelization. Let's go ahead and do a method I like to call dry basting, where we've got this moisture content coming from the collagen breaking down, turning into gelatin, and we'll put another layer right on top. Looking good. That side looks fantastic. That side looks fantastic. Could pass for the best medium rare steak you ever had, or a well done charred steak. Now this is the important part. We need to let this steak rest, okay? Arguably one of the hardest things in barbecue is to let the meat rest, but it's vitally important that we do that right now. So we're just gonna let it hang out. For a steak this size, we're talking about 7 minutes or so. But you gotta do it, let it rest. Remember, we're gonna turn this into half medium rare and then half well done. There's a difference between well done and done well. Today, I'm gonna show you a little bit of both. Okay, I gotta stop talking about it. I'm in my head about it, right? I know it's not the right thing to do, but we all know that one person, and I'll tell you this too, like rare's not the right thing to do either, right? So I'd put those folks that like their steak rare and those folks that like their steak well done equally, and I'm not gonna say the word wrong, I'm telling you, unless it's like a carpaccio and it's blister seared and sliced thin, you've got mustard and stuff, or you're doing a tartare. But if you're buying an expensive steak, that has great marbling or that intermuscular spider web fat in there, the collagen needs to break down and turn to gelatin, right? So if you're ordering a rare steak, you go to a fine dining steakhouse, they're not gonna let you order it rare. They're gonna ask for more of a medium rare plus, if that's even a thing, if you believe in that. closer to medium, really. I'm saying a lot of things that a lot of people aren't going to agree with, but I'm not throwing shade. This is how it is. I'm walking off camera because I feel I feel so awkward right now doing this video. Enough about me. We'll let it rest. Probably about 5 more minutes. All right, we've given it 7 minutes. Let's go in for the slice. I like to put a little positive pressure on each side. And look at that. Look at that scruffing. It's just a little loud. Yeah, it's stunning. So a little positive pressure here, a little help there. And it's going to do something interesting too. As the myoglobin interacts with the oxygen, it's going to begin to bloom out. But let me just show you where we are here. It's going to rouge out here in just a second as we let it sit, and you'll see that bullseye effect. All right, so that is arguably half the steak right there. We'll just kind of turn that, shingle it, and that is a beautiful New York strip. Perfectly cooked, one might say. Now for this side, this is going to be our well done side over here. We're going to continue to slice just like we did our medium rare side. And now there's no question about it. This is the way that I prefer my New York strip. Okay, this is the way I'd say that a lot of people prefer their New York strips. We're going to take it and just briefly kiss each side on that hot cast iron and zap some of the pink away. See that nice color there? We're just gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now we flip. It's a trick. I mean, we're kind of tricking folks, but yeah. All right, now we're done. I'm gonna go ahead and shingle it. Look at that. Pull this one over here. Okay. I told you. I mean, by the end of this video, you're not gonna hate me. This is. So, I would suggest that these two steaks are going to have the same mouthfeel, the same moisture content, and yet you can get away with calling this one well done. It's got the crust they're looking for. It's just going to be, you're going to be stuck cooking for that person for the rest of your life because they're not going to have a well done steak that tastes like this one. So is it a little bit of a trick? Yes. Do we have to break out the A1? No. All right. But again, look at how that's rouged out. That's a stunner. This literally just kissed that cast iron for just a couple seconds. So if you can slice it and you can put just a quick brief sear on both sides, you can get away with serving a well done steak in a way that's not going to offend your soul to do so. And we got 2 different temperatures out of the same steak. So if you're cooking for 2 and your loved one, because you have to love them to do this for them, wants their steak this way, now you've got the ability to do it using 1 steak and still staying married at the end of the day, or whatever your relationship is with that person. Let's give it a taste. And you can tell which one is which, obviously. Let's start with Tower of Power. Let's go for the obvious medium rare first. That's a good steak. Now let's go for the mock well done. Fantastic. The scruffing worked really well. The dry basting really well. So even if you're not into the finality of getting the 2 different temperatures, these basic elements of elevated steak cooking are going to work for you. But I think we've pulled it off pretty well, and I hope that I've helped some people out there throughout this, and no one was offended.
It doesn't break your heart when you have to do a well done.
Yeah, you know, I mean, don't throw it in the deep fryer. That was always the joke in the restaurant. You know, hockey puck, well done. Throw it in the deep fryer. Don't do it. Don't do it. But nice char on the outside helps sell that well done as well. Also, I was gonna say well done as well. All right, it's a lot. It's a lot. Anyways, folks, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for hanging out with us. As always, remember, delicious doesn't have to be difficult. And from our backyard to yours, cheers and happy grilling.